Have you heard of the saying that all that glitters is not gold? Come with me, OLANDA'S. Let's dive in and find out why. In the bustling heart of Lagos, where the sound of honking cars mixes with the chatter of people hustling for a better life, Tunde stood out like a beacon of success. At 29, he was living the dream, driving a sleek black Mercedes, living in a luxury apartment overlooking the city, and running a tech setup that seemed to skyrocket out of nowhere. On social media, Tunde was an inspiration, with thousands of followers hanging onto every post about hard work and perseverance. But behind the perfectly curated Instagram and the aura of success, there was a story no one knew, one that would shock everyone who thought they knew Tunde. Tunde wasn't always the man everyone envied. He grew up in a modest home in Surulere. He was the youngest of three siblings. His parents were hardworking civil servants who did their best to provide for their children. Tunde was a bright kid, the type who could talk his way out of every situation. Even in primary school, he had a way of convincing his classmates to trade their lunch for his. As he grew older, his charm and wit only sharpened, and by the time he was in the university, he was the guy everyone wanted to be around. But Tunde wasn't just about charm. He had big dreams of making it in the tech world. So after graduating with a degree in computer science, he landed a 9 to 5 job at a tech firm. But the routine job and the major salary weren't enough for someone with his ambition. Tunde wanted more money, more success, more recognition, and he wanted it really fast. So Tunde started working on a side hustle, a tech startup he called Next Gen Solutions. It was supposed to be a platform connecting freelancers with clients in need of digital services. He pitched the idea to everyone who would listen, but funding was hard to come by. Investors didn't seem to share his vision, and Tunde quickly realized that building a successful startup from the ground up wasn't going to be as easy as he thought. Then, seemingly overnight, everything changed. Tunde's social media exploded with posts of him signing contracts, attending high profile meetings, and showcasing his newly acquired wealth. He quit his job, moved into a luxury apartment, and started driving a brand new Mercedes. His followers couldn't get enough of his success story. Hustle pays, he would caption his post, making it seem like his hard work has finally paid off. But those who knew Tunde was left wondering, how did he go from struggling as an entrepreneur to overnight success? Among Tunde's old friends was Kemi, a childhood friend who had known him since their days at the local primary school. Kemi was now a journalist, working for a popular online news platform. She had always admired Tunde's ambition, but found his sudden rise to success a little too convenient. Something didn't add up. The Tunde she knew was talented, sure, but this level of wealth and success, it didn't make sense. At least not this fast. So one day, while scrolling through Instagram, Femi stumbled upon a photo of Tunde posing in front of a private jet. The caption read, "Dream it, work for it, and achieve it." She stared at the photo, a nagging feeling growing in her guts. She knew Tunde had started his tech company, but she also knew how difficult it was to start off the ground, especially in a place like Lagos. Yet, here was Tunde living a life that seemed straight out of the billionaire's playbook. Kemi's curiosity got the better of her as a journalist. She had a nose for stories that didn't quite add up, and this one was no different. So she decided to dig a little deeper. It started innocently enough, checking Tunde's LinkedIn profile, googling his company's name, and asking mutual friends if they knew more about his business. But the more she dug, the more questions she had. Next Gen Solution, the company Tunde was supposed to have built from ground up, had very little online presence. There was no article about his launch, no press releases, no real sign of any business activity. The website was basic, almost like a placeholder. And when Kemi looked up the company's registration, she was surprised to find out that it wasn't even registered in Tunde's name. The owner was listed as a man named Chief Olumide, a name that rang a bell but didn't immediately make sense to her. Intrigued, Kemi kept digging. She reached out to some contacts in the business world, trying to find out more about this Chief Olumide. What she found out made her blood run cold. Chief Olumide wasn't just any businessman. He was a notorious figure in the underworld, known for laundering money through seemingly legitimate business. And now it seemed like Tunde was somehow involved with him. The more Kemi learned, the more concerned she became. This wasn't just about Tunde faking his success. He was involved in something much darker. But why? Was it greed? Desperation? Whatever the reason, Kemi knew she had to confront Tunde. But she needed to be careful. If she saw Olumide was as dangerous as people said, it wasn't just a story, it was a potential threat to her life. Kemi decided to approach Tunde subtly. She invited him out for drink, just like old times. They met at a rooftop bar in Victoria Island, with the lights of Lagos twinkling in the background. Tunde arrived in his usual style, dressed to impress, with his trademark smile that had charmed so many. Kemi, it's been long. Tunde greeted her with a warm hug, his cologne filling the air. Too long indeed, Kemi replied, smiling as she settled into her seat. They chatted for a while, catching up on life, reminiscing about old times. But as the night wore on, Kemi steered the conversation towards Tunde's business. So, Tunde, she began casually, tell me more about next gen solutions. It seems like you've really hit it big. Tunde's eye lit up at the mention of his company's name. Ah, Kemi, it's been a journey. Oh. You know how it is now, hard work, sleepless nights, but it's all paying off. Kemi nodded, playing along. I've been following your posts. You've done so well. But I have to admit, I was surprised. It all happened so quickly. Tunde's smile faltered for a brief moment before he recovered. Well, it's Lagos now. Opportunity come and you have to just seize them. Kemi leaned in slightly, lowering her voice. I did some research of your company, Tunde. I noticed it's not registered in your name. Instead, it's under a name of one chief, Olumide. Care to explain? Tunde's smile froze on his face. He stared at Kemi for a moment. The easygoing charm drained from his expression. He quickly glanced around the bar, as if he was checking if someone was listening. Then he leaned in close. Kemi, this isn't something that you should be playing around with. This is not the kind of question you should be asking about, he whispered, his voice tense. You don't know these people. You don't know the kind of people you're dealing with. Kemi's heart raced, but she kept her cool. Then help me understand, Tunde. I'm your friend. I don't want to see you getting into something you can't handle. Tunde looked around again, his hands fidgeting with his glass. He took a deep breath and looked at Kemi in the eyes. It's not what you think. I needed funding, and Chief Olumide, he made an offer. I couldn't refuse, but it's all over board. Is it? Kemi challenged gently. Or are you just telling yourself that because you're in too deep? Tunde's face darkened. You don't know what it's like, Kemi. I had no other choice. I was drowning in debts, and the business was not going anywhere. Chief offered me a way out. Yes, he's the real owner, but I'm the face of the company. I just have to play along until I can buy my way out. Kemi shook her head slowly. Tunde, you're playing a dangerous game. If this gets out of hand, you could lose everything, or even worse. Tunde leaned back in his chair, running his hands over his face. You think I don't know? Think I don't know that at all? What am I supposed to do? Go back to being broke, struggling to make ends meet? I can't. I've come too far. So as the week went by, he couldn't shake the feeling that things were about to go terribly wrong. Tunde tried to carry on as if everything was normal, posting more photos of his luxury lifestyle, but behind the scene, he was becoming more paranoid. He started noticing people watching him, following him, even when there was nobody there. Every time his phone rang, his heart skipped a beat, fearing it was Chief or some of his men. Kemi, on the other hand, was stunned. She wanted to help Tunde, but she also knows she had a responsibility to expose the truth. As a journalist, she couldn't just sit on this story, but she also didn't want to put Tunde in a place of danger. The pressure was building, and she knew that she had to make a decision soon. One evening, Kemi had a frantic call from Tunde. His voice was shaking, something she had never heard before. Kemi, I need to see you. I need to see you now. It's urgent. They met at a small, dimly lit cafe in a quiet part of the town. Tunde looked exhausted, dark circle under his eyes. His usual polished appearance was nowhere to be seen. He sat hunched over the table, his hand wrapped tightly around a cup of coffee. Kemi, he said, I'm in trouble. His voice barely above a whisper. Chief has not been happy. He thinks I've been talking to someone about our arrangement. Kemi's heart sank. Tunde, what did you do? He said, I didn't do anything, Tunde hissed. But he's paranoid. He's been asking questions, sending people to check up on me. I don't know what to do. Kemi leaned in, her voice firm. Tunde, you have to get out of this. Go to the authorities. Tell them everything. It's the only way around. You crazy? Tunde shouted back, panic in his eye. If I go to the police, Chief will kill me. He has these people everywhere. I can't just walk away from this. Then what's your plan? Kemi asked, trying to stay calm. You can't keep living like this. He's going to catch up with you. Tunde stared at her, desperation in his eyes. I don't have a plan, Kemi. I'm just trapped. The tensions was getting to Tunde. He was no longer the confident, charming man everyone admired. He started avoiding social events, staying off social media, and even missing important business meetings. His luxury lifestyle was crumbling, but it wasn't the loss of wealth that scared him. It was the fear that Chief would find out that he was planning to leave. Kemi kept in touch with Tunde, but he was becoming increasingly erratic. One night, she received a series of messages from him, each more desperate than the last. Tunde, Kemi, I think they are onto me. Kemi, what did you do? What happened? Tunde, I don't know. They've been following me. I can feel it. Kemi said, Tunde, you need to go to the police. It's the only way and the safer way for you to be out of this. Tunde said, I can't. They'll kill me. I'm trapped, Kemi, and I'm scared. Kemi's heart pounded as she read the message. She knew Tunde was in real danger, but she also knew that going to the authorities was the only way to protect him. She decided to take matters into her own hands. The next morning, Kemi contacted a friend that works in the police force. She explained the situation, leaving out the details that could put Tunde into immediate danger. The officer agreed to help, but they needed more information. So that evening, Kemi met with Tunde in his apartment. It was the first time she had seen him in weeks, and she barely recognized him. He looked worn out, his once bright eyes now dull and lifeless. Tunde, I spoke to someone in the police, Kemi said, sitting down on the edge of the sofa. They will have to help you. You just have to be able to come clean. You have to tell them everything, and that is the only way you can break free from this. Tunde looked at her, his expression a mixture of fear and hopelessness. You don't understand, Kemi. If I do that, it's over for me. Chief will make sure of it. Kemi reached out and took his hand. Tunde, it's already over. You can't keep living like this. The longer you wait, the more dangerous it gets. Tunde pulled his hand away and stood up, pacing the room. I can't do this. I can't. I'm not strong enough. Kemi watched him, her heart breaking. Tunde, you've always been strong. You've been through so much and you've always come out on top. But this is different. You need to face it head on or it will destroy you. Tunde stopped pacing and looked at her, tears welling up in his eyes. I don't know how to fight this, Kemi. I don't know what to do. Kemi stood up and hugged him, feeling his body trembling. You don't have to do it alone. I'm with you. We'll get through this together. The next day, Tunde made the most difficult decision of his life. He agreed to meet up with the police and tell them everything he knew about Chifolumide and his operation. It was a risk, but it was the only way out. So Kemi accompanied Tunde to the police station, where he spent hours giving his statement. The officers listened carefully, taking notes and asking questions. They assured Tunde that they would protect him, but they also warned him that it wasn't going to be easy. Chief Olumide was a very powerful man with connection in high places, and taking him down would not be any small feat. Over the next few weeks, Tunde was placed in a witness protection program. He was moved to a safe house outside the city. His location kept secret even from Kemi. It was a very lonely and terrifying moment for him, but he knew it was necessary. He had to finally take the step of being free from the nightmare he has been living. Kemi continued to work on her article, carefully crafting the story that would expose the truth behind Tunde's sudden rise to success. She knew it would be a bombshell, but she also knew it was a story that needed to be told. When Kemi's article was finally published, it sent shockwave through Lagos. The headline read, Exposed, the dark secrets behind Lagos tech darling success. The story detailed Tunde's involvement with Chief Olumide, the money laundering scheme, and the dangerous world he has been dragged into. It was a story of ambition, desperation, and the price of living a lie. The article quickly went viral, with thousands of people sharing it on social media. Tunde's followers were stunned. The man they had admired for his success was now revealed to be a pawn in a criminal enterprise. This news spread like wildfire, and soon Tunde's name was on everyone's lips. But while the public was shocked, the authorities were busy. Based on Tunde's testimony, they launched a massive investigation into Chief Olumide's operation. Several arrests were made and assets were seized. The once untouchable chief was finally being brought to justice. As for Tunde, his life had changed forever. The luxury, the fame, and the adoration, it all went away. The paranoid and the constant worry that has plugged him over all this time was also gone. He was starting over, but this time he was determined to do it the right way. So Tunde eventually moved to a new city, far from the life he had once known. He got a job in a small tech firm, working quietly and honestly. It was a far cry for the glamorous life that he had once lived, but for the first time in years, he felt free. Kemi, on the other hand, had cemented her reputation as a fearless journalist. Her article had not only exposed a criminal empire, but also helped a friend escape a life that could have destroyed him. She was proud of her work and the things she has accomplished. But more than that, she was relieved that Tunde was safe. So life moved on, but the lesson learned from Tunde's story lingered. In a city where success was measured by wealth and status, his story served as a stark reminder that not everything that glitters is gold. For those who had admired him, the revelation was a sober wake up call. As for Tunde, he had learned the hard way that shortcuts to success often come with a price. But he had also learned that it was never too late to make things right. He may have lost everything he once valued, but he had gained something far more important than a chance to rebuild his life with honesty and integrity. And so, in the end, Tunde's story became more than just a tale of rise and fall. It became a story of redemption, of the power of truth, and the courage it takes for you to face mistakes and start over. For those who followed this journey, it was a lesson that no amount of wealth or success will ever replace the peace that comes with living a life free of lies and deceit. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope you enjoyed it. Please leave a comment in the comment section. This will enable me to know that you are really following up on this. And I promise to be bringing you continuous gist, continuous story that will, lighten your heart. Thank you so much. And until next time, when I come your way again, please stay safe. Bye. I love you.